Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how we all doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Alright, let's see what there is to talk about from the world of boxing today. Let's start with this one. Inoue enters historic bout, a monster favourite against Butler. Yeah, monster favourite, he really does. Look, a lot of people are understandably writing off Butler, and this isn't a slight at Butler, it's just because everyone believes Inoue is just that special. That's what it is. I think some people's takes have been called disrespectful. They're not at all. I mean, Paul Butler understands just how big a task this is. You're not just fighting the pound for pound, what is he, number 3 or number 4, who has knockout power. You're fighting him in his backyard. Do you know how big a task this is? It's incredible. So, yeah, let's see what Inoue does. There is a lot of talk about once he wins this fight, he could go up in weight class. Man, I mean, he's a danger to anyone above him. Anybody can get it. So let's see what Inoue looks like. But good luck to Paul Butler. Hopefully, a bit like Avanesyan, hopefully, and we'll talk about that fight in a minute, hopefully he goes out there and causes some problems, right? Lands a couple of shots. Who knows, right? I mean, we've seen some upsets in boxing, but this would be up there with probably one of the biggest ones I've ever seen. I'm not joking, ever. That's how much I think Inoue gets the job done. Michael Conlan, I want to fight for a world title as soon as possible. Yeah, good win for Michael Conlan. He's come back well since that defeat to Leigh Wood. He really has. And Michael Conlan, you know, there are not going to be a lot of fighters queuing up to fight him because he's a very, very good boxer. I still think he could go down a weight class. Like, I don't think he's fighting in his natural weight class, but look, he's a very, very good boxer. And I've just done a video about Josh Warrington. That's the big fight, right? Conlan, Josh Warrington is a very big fight. I still think Conlan Leigh Wood rematch is a must. I'd love to see that one. But whatever Conlan does, he's going to be in big fights in 2023. So we'll see. Dubois' trainer hopes last performance will tempt fighters to step up. I don't necessarily think fighters are scared of Daniel Dubois. It kind of depends what level we're talking about here and what money's on the table, right? I mean, fighters are fighters. Fighters will fight regardless. They might want to be paid to get in the ring with Daniel Dubois. Maybe that's the issue because Dubois, as far as I'm aware, isn't really a draw, so I don't know what the paycheck is, but I don't think there's any top fighters out there scared of Daniel Dubois. I'm not convinced that's the case, but look, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Regardless, a bit here on Inoue. Look, I mean, Paul Butler, you know, you're trying to take small things, small ounces of positivity. Inoue missed weight the first time, made it on the second attempt. I mean, is he struggling to make the weight? I mean, if you're Paul Butler, these are small things you take. Terence Crawford gets the job done against David Avanesyan. Let's talk about that fight. I knew someone that was out there that kind of saw what was going on behind the scenes with regards to BLK. Obviously, this is their first fight card. I heard it was chaotic. Let's just say that. It was chaotic, but in the end, we got a fight card. Trust me, I heard that we were close to not getting a fight card, but we got it. I don't get a lot of things right in boxing. Boxing sometimes is a tricky sport to predict, but this is one that I did get right. I said that Avanesyan would cause Terence some problems, but Terence will eventually, and I said it, you heard me say it right, go into that tool bag and bring out tools that Avanesyan simply hasn't seen before. And that's kind of how it played out. Avanesyan had some success. He landed some big overhand rights. But in the end, Terence Crawford shows why there's levels to this. Honestly, there are levels to the sport of boxing. You know how crazy those levels are? I was just thinking about this. So, like, you had Troy Williamson completely get outdone by Josh Kelly, like completely get outdone, right? Lost every single round. Josh Kelly went in there against Avanesyan, got blown away. Avanesyan then goes in against Crawford and gets knocked out. Could be knockout of the year. Just the levels of the sport are incredible. And this isn't a dig at Troy Williamson, who's at the bottom of that level, because he's a very, very good fighter. But it just shows you there's British level, there's European level, and then there's the top of the tree. There's the top of the tree. And Terence Crawford showed, I think, why, for me, he's, if not your pound for pound, he has to be in your pound for pound top 3-4. Has to be. If he's not, then we need to have a discussion as to why he's not. He's such a brilliant boxer, even when he does get tagged, and he does now, and we'll talk about whether the feet are slowing down a bit. I think they are. I said this, right? He's 35. They're going to slow down. But what he's now become, because the feet have slowed down a bit, and they have. Go and watch Terence old school fights. They're 100% slowed down. Because they have slowed down, he's now become a more spiteful puncher. He's now willing to sit down on his punches a bit more and really hurt you. And I said this on the preview video I did. I think he's probably the most spiteful finisher I've ever seen. Well, in this generation, apologies. Because he just wants to get you out of there and hurt you. He's not coming to play around. There's no overtime with Terence Crawford. If he knows he can hurt you, he can hurt you. One thing Avanesyan did in that fight, which, look, I'm not a boxer. I just go on what I see. Because he's got such a tight guard, I just don't know if you see the punches coming. Honestly, I don't know, which is why you see a lot of fighters fight with their hands down, because it's not, it's one of the biggest reasons is because they want to see it coming. They want to see the punches coming, and they try and use their own lateral movement to avoid the punches. Avanesyan was literally walking to Crawford like that, and I'm like, how do you see them coming? And that's why Crawford started landing the uppercuts, he started landing the hooks, and it's more because Avanesyan can't really see him. He can't really see him coming because of that really tight guard. But Terence Crawford started having success early. Again, Avanesyan had success, and that almost leads you into a false sense of security. You're like, okay, well, I've got some success here. And then you start maybe letting your hands go a bit more. And as soon as you let them hands go, bang. Now, that right hook was just, it's not even a word, but you know what I mean. Terence landed that, and that was good night. It was good night. So, look, credit to Avanesyan. He done what I wanted him to do, which was to cause Terence some problems, test him, test the chin, test that engine. Again, 35. Avanesyan's no young kid either. What is he, 33, 34? But he's been more active. Test the legs of Terence that haven't been in a ring, real boxing, so not sparring, obviously, but in the ring for 13, 14 months. And he did that. But again, when Terence decided enough was enough, I want to go through the gears here and get this kid out of there, he did that as well. Terence hasn't signed a deal with BLK. That was a sort of one and done. Whether or not he's going to fight on that promotion, again, I heard there were a couple of things behind the scenes that weren't great, but he said he's a free agent. He can go anywhere. He can go anywhere and fight whoever. It's a case of what offer comes to him. The problem now, though, and this is, look, happy for Terence to get we're hearing it was 10 million. I heard 7, 8, but if it was 10, it was 10. The problem now, though, is if you get 10 to fight Avanesyan, how much are you going to want to fight Spence? If BLK, this is the issue. If BLK can say it's 10 for Avanesyan, and bear in mind, Spence is there, Avanesyan's there. Spence has got 3 belts, Avanesyan's got none. Spence is a draw, Avanesyan isn't. Spence put bums on seats, Avanesyan doesn't. How much are you going to want to get to fight Spence? 20? 25? The fight isn't worth that. Like, 10 million really is what I thought max, by the way. 10 million is max what I thought he would have got to fight Spence. Max. And now he's been given that to fight Avanesyan. Do you understand? So there's going to be a problem there, I think. So, look, I still harbour hope and ambition and everything else that the fight happens, but I don't think it does. If I'm honest with you, I'd be shocked if that fight happens, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I've kind of just I've kind of given up hope that it happens. I just hope now that Terence can maybe take a risk, and it will be a risk, and fight the younger kids. That's what I hope. I mean, I keep talking about Jaron Ennis, by the way. When's he fighting? Jaron Ennis should be fighting 3 times a year. How many fights has Jaron Ennis had this year? 1 second. And I don't think there's been any injuries. I stand to be corrected. I don't think there's been any injuries. This is a young prospect who is, was he 24, 25? How many fights has he had this year? Let's have a look. 1. He's got a fight scheduled for 7th of January, but he's had 1 fight this year. And that fight was against Clayton. How many fights has Virgil Ortiz had this year? I know the Mickelson one, and I know prior to the Mickelson, it was supposed to be Mickelson, but there was an issue with Virgil. I don't know if it was a weight issue, whatever. How many fights he had this year? 1. What a joke, innit? Eh? two prospects, and they are prospects. I mean, you know, they're prospects. Well, prospects at the world scene, right? You've had one fight each in 2022. One fight, boy. Anyway, look, well done, Terence Crawford. Good performance from David Avanesyan. He'll be back. Wouldn't mind seeing, now that I just mentioned Virgil Ortiz, I just thought about Michael Mickinson. I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Mickinson versus Avanesyan. Michael Mickinson will have the fight. I don't know how big a fight that is in the UK, but I think it's a decent fight to go as a main in a small venue or as a co-main on something bigger. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I think both of them have gone to, obviously Avanesyan's gone to world level, but you could argue and say Michael Mickinson went to world level with Virgil as well. Both of them have come up short. Get them in against each other. All right, anyway, guys, girls, we're done.